History books tell us how the most infamous criminals met their end. Bullets, betrayal, the long arm of the law finally catching up after years on the run. But what if some of those endings were completely wrong? What if the bodies didn't match, the witnesses lied, or the real truth was buried along with the coffin forever? In this video, we reveal 15 famous criminals whose deaths weren't what you were taught in school. Some escaped justice entirely, some were murdered by their own allies, and some may still be out there today. The real story begins right now. Number 1, Billy the Kid and the Question That Won't Die. In 1881, Sheriff Pat Garrett claimed he shot William Bonney in a dark bedroom at Fort Sumner, New Mexico. The kid was 21, already a legend across the territory for his gunfighting skills and narrow escapes from custody. But was it really him in that room? Garrett never saw the face clearly in the darkness that night. The body was buried fast, within hours, before anyone could properly verify the identity. Decades later, a man named Brushy Bill Roberts swore he was the real Billy, claiming Garrett shot the wrong man, and the two made a secret deal to let him disappear. Roberts petitioned for an official pardon in 1950, providing details only the kid would know about gang hideouts. DNA tests have been proposed repeatedly, but never completed due to legal obstacles. The grave marker has been stolen twice by souvenir hunters. Historians still argue whether the most famous outlaw of the Old West truly died that night or simply rode away into myth. Number 2, Butch Cassidy's Bolivian Mystery. The story goes that Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid died in a shootout with Bolivian soldiers in 1908. Cornered, outgunned, finished forever in a foreign land. Except the bodies were never positively identified by anyone who actually knew them. No photographs taken at the scene, no fingerprints recorded, just two dead outlaws in a foreign country. For decades, rumors persisted that Cassidy survived the gunfight and returned to America under a new name. His sister insisted she met him alive in 1925. A man in Spokane claimed to be him until his death in 1937. Were those Bolivian corpses really the famous outlaws, or did the Wild Bunch's leader escape entirely? Number 3, Jesse James and the Cousins' Confession. Jesse James was shot in the back of the head by Robert Ford in 1882 while adjusting a picture on the wall of his Missouri home. Case closed, the newspapers declared triumphantly. But in 1948, J. Frank Dalton claimed he was the real Jesse, insisting Ford killed a substitute while James escaped to live in hiding. He provided specific details only Jesse would know about gang operations. When the grave was exhumed in 1995, DNA matched James' family members, seemingly ending debate. Yet questions linger about chain of custody and sample contamination during the testing process. Did America's most famous outlaw really die in that Missouri parlor? Number 4, John Wilkes Booth's second life. Booth assassinated President Lincoln and died in a Virginia barn 12 days later. That's the accepted history taught in every school. But for years afterward, a man named John St. Helen told friends he was actually Booth, claiming the government killed the wrong man to close the case quickly. His mummified body toured sideshows across America for decades, drawing curious crowds. In 1994, researchers tried to exhume Booth's grave for DNA comparison, but were blocked by descendants who refused permission. The theory refuses to die quietly. Number 5, Dutch Schultz's fevered final words. When gangster Dutch Schultz was shot in a Newark chop house in 1935, he lingered for hours, delirious with fever. His rambling deathbed words were transcribed by a police stenographer, creating a surreal stream mentioning French Canadian bean soup, his mother, and mystery locations that made no sense. Some believe the ramblings contained coded messages about millions in hidden money. Others think they reveal who really ordered his killing. Schultz died without making sense. Number 6, Ma Barker's questionable firefight. The FBI claimed Kate. Ma Barker died in a 4-hour gun battle with agents in 1935, fighting alongside her son Fred in a Florida lake house. But former gang members insisted Ma was just an old woman traveling with her sons, not a criminal mastermind. Some historians suggest the FBI manufactured her reputation to justify killing an elderly mother. No evidence proves she fired a shot. Was Ma Barker dangerous, or did J. Edgar Hoover need a villain? Number 7. Bonnie and Clyde's brutal ambush. On May 23, 1934, lawmen pumped over 130 rounds into Bonnie Parker and Clyde Barrow's sedan during a Louisiana ambush. The official story called it justified killing of dangerous fugitives. But questions emerged immediately. Were they given any chance to surrender? Some witnesses claimed shooting started before any warning. The overkill suggested revenge for the officers Clyde had killed. Section 1 of 2 Number 8, Pretty Boy Floyd's Execution Theory. Charles Floyd was shot by FBI agents in an Ohio cornfield in October 1934. The Bureau said he pulled a gun, forcing agents to fire, but a local police officer present told a different story decades later. He claimed Floyd was wounded first, captured alive, and then executed on direct orders from Melvin Purvis himself. Floyd's dying words, asking why they shot him when he was surrendering, suggest the official version has serious holes that have never been explained. Number 9, John Dillinger's facial mystery. The FBI shot John Dillinger outside Chicago's Biograph Theater in July 1934, ending America's most sensational manhunt. Or did they? Photographs of the corpse showed different eye color, different fingerprint patterns, and different features than Dillinger's known records indicated. Some researchers believe Dillinger had undergone plastic surgery to alter his face. Others suggest the FBI killed the wrong man entirely, and the real Dillinger slipped away to live decades in anonymity. His grave has never been exhumed for DNA testing. The man buried in Indianapolis may not be public enemy number 1. Number 10, Babyface Nelson's missing hours. On November 27, 1934, Babyface Nelson killed 2 FBI agents in a fierce gunfight near Barrington, Illinois. Shot 17 times during the battle, he escaped into the night. His body was found the next morning, dumped naked on a roadside. Where was he during those missing hours? Who stripped off his clothes and transported his corpse there? His wife and associate never fully explained the timeline. What happened in Nelson's final hours remains one of the Depression era's unsolved mysteries. Number 11, Machine Gun Kelly's quiet contradiction. George Kelly, who allegedly coined the phrase "don't shoot G-men," spent 20 years in federal prison. He died of a heart attack at Leavenworth in 1954, but inmates and guards painted a different picture than his fearsome reputation suggested. Kelly was mild-mannered, bookish, and terrified of violence. His wife, Catherine, may have created his entire public image. Did the real Machine Gun Kelly ever actually exist? Number 12, Al Capone's long deterioration. Scarface. Al Capone died of cardiac arrest in 1947, his mind destroyed by syphilis. His final years were spent confused at his Florida estate, but some historians question whether syphilis alone explains his dramatic decline. Was he poisoned by rivals? Did prosecution break something beyond his brain? The man who died was a shadow, barely recognizing family. Number 13, D.B. Cooper vanished completely. In 1971, Dan Cooper hijacked a plane, collected $200,000 in ransom, and parachuted into the Washington wilderness. Never seen again. No body, no identification. The FBI investigated 45 years before closing the case in 2016. Some believe he died in the jump. Others insist he lived under a new identity for decades. He remains the only unsolved American hijacking. Number 14, Ned Kelly's defiant end. Australia's most famous outlaw was hanged in Melbourne in 1880 after a legendary last stand in homemade armor. His final words, "Such is life," became immortal. Was it justice or political execution? His skull went missing for over a century. When remains were identified in 2011, Australia confronted the question again. Number 15, Whitey Bulger's prison killing. Boston's most feared mobster survived decades as an FBI informant and 16 years as a fugitive on the run. Captured in 2011, Bulger was beaten to death in a West Virginia prison in 2018, just hours after his mysterious transfer. No cameras captured the attack. Guards were conveniently absent from their posts. Who arranged his transfer to that particular facility? Who wanted him silenced before he could talk about his FBI connections? 15 criminals, 15 official endings, 15 compelling reasons to doubt every single one. The bodies in these graves may be exactly who we're told, or they may be strangers, substitutes, convenient lies that let legends escape into ordinary anonymous lives. We may never know the complete truth. The final mystery belongs to the dead alone.